Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to briefly introduce what's CoSpaces and the layout of that. So once you start to choose a new project, you can see that you have four options. One is 3D to CoSpaces and create a 3D environment, or you have some available templates you can use. And this is some of the templates, and you have more once you just go inside. So 360 image, you can find a 360 image background that you want. You can import there. The difference between 3D environment and 360 image, I found that you as a viewer and or the camera, you cannot work in 360 image, but you can work in 3D environment. Of course, both of them have pros and cons. Like 3D environment the resources could be quite limited, and 360 image you can put whatever you want. So it depends on what you need. And the other one is tour. So the tour is a new one. It's still kind of in the beta version. And for the tour, you can actually import all of the 360 images you have it. You create it as a virtual tour. They're slightly different, but I usually will use 360 image or 3D environment. So I'm going to choose 3D environment this time. I'm going to click on empty scene. Again, like I mentioned, you can have several available environment background here. So you go to the bottom left corner, you click environment, you click edit, you can find some of the environment. But they're not a lot. You can choose whatever you want it. And if it doesn't really work out for you, what you can do is that you can add on different elements to make that as an environment you want. So for example, I'm going to choose underwater. Now you can see all of this snapping grids here. And if you go to top left corner and there's a snapping, you can see you can choose the size of the grid you want it. I make it really big, I'll make it smaller, make it even smaller. The reason you can do it because it can help you to recognize where you put your objects. And you can also get rid of it. If you get rid of it, you can see now it's just the sand. And sometimes you might think the floor is kind of boring. You can click floor image, upload the image as a floor. And this image could be 2D. So I'm going to leave my grid here, and I'm going to library. So in the library, you can see you have a lot of characters here. Sometimes you might find, oh, I want some characters, but they're not available on CoSpaces. Again, we have tutorials already for you to download on Thingiverse and import to CoSpaces, or you can use Tinkercad or any 3D platforms you want to use to customize your own ones, and then you can upload to CoSpaces. Check them out. And so there are several categories like characters, animals, housing, and all different things. Some of them could be quite complicated, but most of them actually quite easy. So for example, I'm going to drag this lady. The lady seems very small in my environment. And if I want to make it bigger, and I can just go to click on drag to scale, I can make it bigger. And there's this one you can rotation mode. Once you click on it, you can have three different directions you can rotate. You can rotate side to side, you can rotate upside down, or you can even rotate to left or right, like that. Okay, so if you don't like it, you can do undo. So I think I'm gonna just scale this lady here. And if you hover over your cursor on top of the object and double click or right click, and you can do all different sorts of the things. You can try to activate code, so you can code this lady later. If you want to show the name as well, you can even change the name later. You can make it a say or think something. You can activate physics. We're going to talk about this in another tutorial, so you can check that out. And to transform, so you can figure out the coordinates of this object here. Sometimes can be quite important, especially if you want to coordinate with other objects. You can make it to do the animation. Of course, you can actually code on the animation as well. But if you don't feel confident doing this, you can easily just click here, and you don't have to do code. The other thing I find it's quite cool that you can change all of the colors and make it as some of the objects you want. For example, I can change the shirt to purple and pants to yellow And the skin, I like the skin, or maybe sometimes you might just change it darker or slightly fair. And you can change the hair, or for example, I want brown hair. And the eyes, you can change the eye color as well. And now you can see I changed those already. So if I go back again, if you don't want to change this, you can lock it, you can duplicate, you can even delete it. For the attach or rest of the things, we will talk about this in other projects. And you can also upload the different sorts of the files. We're going to talk about this in another tutorial. So pretty much that's the introduce of CoSpaces. I hope you have fun. Bye.